So we're going to run through Princes and the experience there, because it'd be interesting to get your insights on what it was like to play in those conditions. So we're going to fire through a couple of questions, all right? Um, so first of all, I mean, I think it was about -2, -1 degrees or something with the wind, and then the wind was about 45 to 50 miles an hour. What, as a pro, like what was your impression whenever you turned up and it was blowing a hoolie?
I almost was a bit deflated. I think just because you look at the forecast and you just know what it's going to be like, and then it's almost like it feels worse on a links course. And then like compared to a parkland where you're a bit more protected and you've got all of the trees to protect the wind a little bit. It's just because it's so exposed, it always feels worse. On the coast, temperatures feel colder than what they actually should be.
Yeah. So you were dreading.
Yeah, it was just brutal.
Dreading getting out in the course.
Yeah.
What do you think if the pros played that course? Like, first of all, would they play? And if they had to, what do you think a good score would have been?
First of all, I don't think they would go. But if they had to and it was tournament play, even though I think if it was a tournament, they wouldn't tee it up because it's borderline impossible. So yeah, I think mid-70s would probably be a really good score in those conditions.
Yeah.
Like realistically, I mean, if someone's breaking par in those conditions, it's exceptional golf.
I find if someone's doing really well in those conditions, like they'll get the good conditions and I don't know, just not play as well.
I think there's almost, if it was like a tournament, there's almost not a good side of the draw because it was the same weather the whole time.
Yeah.
So even if you have a morning late or a late morning, it's no different. It made no difference.
What do you mean when you say good side of the draw?
So technically speaking, the wind is less in the morning, but I think when the time we were there, the wind was the same. I mean, we didn't need to set an alarm. We woke up to the wind smashing against the windows. So
right, okay. So when the wind was blowing like that, what were your thoughts when you were standing over a tee shot?
Just to find middle of the face.
Yeah.
That's obviously the most important thing when it's windy, because you can optimize spin a little bit, and even sometimes the spin can drop off, which can help you a little bit. So like off-center strikes can like kill you in the wind a lot.
Okay. So you're trusting your normal shape, adjusting for the wind, and then
more often than not, I think it depends what shape you play. Obviously, in my case, it's a draw. So if I get a left to right wind, it makes it difficult because the wind's so strong. So it makes it difficult for me to actually set up for a draw. So I have to hit a golf shot and use the wind. So for me, it does feel a bit odd. So you have to really commit when you're doing that.
And when you feel the wind more in, are you trying to fight it, or is it true what they say, when it's breezy, swing easy?
No, it's true, because when you swing it easy, the ball flight lowers, and then the spin drops as well, which obviously helps in the wind. And the more lift you have in the wind it's recipe for disaster, really.
Yeah. So how far is your normal carry in good conditions?
With driver?
Yeah.
Just shy of 300. I mean, if I really try and go at one, I can probably get a 305.
Yeah. And then what were you happy with? Say if you've got like a 480 par 4, you've obviously got to carry something to give you a chance, but what are you sort of hoping's a good distance whenever the wind's maybe in-ish or blowing across, like 240, something like that?
No, normally I always try and break the hole down into two parts. So if I'm hitting driver, it'll be 300. That would then leave me 180 on a 480 par 4. So yeah, if the wind was in 2, you'd probably give it another 10-20%, maybe, depending on how strong the wind is. So it can be 200, 220 even. So yeah, I think that's if the wind is in 2. And then if it's down, I mean, I don't think people realise, but when the wind's down, it's actually half. So we play, basically, if it's 10 mile an hour, for example, it would be 10. We take 10% of the yardage if it's into. If it's downwind, we take 5%, and we reduce it by 5%.
Right. Okay.
That's normally relatively accurate, I would say.
Right. So you'd be hoping to carry, say, like into that wind, obviously depending on the strength of the wind, but say it was like, say up and around the high 30s into us at any point. What are you hoping to get out of the driver off the tee?
I would say it's probably reducing my distance by 60, 70 yards. That, and then you factor in temperature, the fact it was raining, which reduces it even more. So, yeah, it could. I mean, yeah, I think even like 230 could have been a good drive at times.
Yeah, that's interesting. So then the approach shots, you got that howling wind again. How are you playing a shot to it? What's your sort of approach? Because I'm thinking, are you trying to shape it one way? Are you trying to shape it another way? Are you just trying to hit it straight and low? Like, what's your mind doing?
No, so more often than not, I think the key thing is if it's more of a crosswind as well. If you start getting it into slightly out of one side, that's when it makes it tricky, because then you're fighting two variables. So yeah, I think when it is windy, I'm clubbing up. It could be 2-3 clubs at times. Obviously, depending on how strong the wind is. But in that case, probably it could be 4 clubs. Mm. And then basically, it's swinging it easy, as you said, because it reduces the flight. Brings the flight down. So yeah, 4 clubs, and then swing it easy. Ball back in stance a fraction, not too much. And then that's it. Just try and keep it simple, really. Yeah.
And you're not trying to hit a shot shape you don't usually hit?
Not really. Not unless I really have to. Because I mean, the wind in our case, the wind was too strong.
Yeah.
So it's too strong to fight the wind anyway.
Yeah.
So you have to try and use it somehow if it's a little bit off the side.
Yeah. And were you chasing many pins whenever you were about 160 to 180 out?
No, not really. I think if you were hitting it close, you're hitting a really good golf shot. So I think, at times probably 20, 30 feet was probably a good shot.
Yeah.
It's just so hard to judge distance when the wind's that strong. And as I said, if you factor in the other variables of the temperature, the rain, and the fact you've got 5 layers on too, that plays a big impact.
And what is it? Is it 10 yards per? What's the sort of the general rule of thumb? If it's a 10 mile an hour wind, 20 mile an hour wind, 30 mile an hour wind, how much does that knock off?
I would say, I think the same rule applies really, as I said with the driver. Like, it can, if it's a 30 mile an hour wind, which I mean probably was consistently for us. Yeah, it's playing. Let's say if it's 200, for example. So just a little bit of context: 200 yards, 30 mile an hour into the wind. It's 60 yards longer. So you've got a 200 yard shot, but you're hitting a 260 yard club. And for some people, that's a driver. For a lot of amateurs, it's a driver.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts. So, speaking to a guy who works in professional gambling, golf and football are his 2 main sports, and even he was saying that for every I think it's probably like mile per hour of wind, it increases your shots by like for a professional it increases by like 0.1 or something. So if you shoot level par, on a normal round, for every mile an hour wind above that, you're likely to go up by 0.1 sort of for every mph.
Yeah,
which I thought was interesting for the pros. So bearing in mind the wind, what was your reaction to Neil out driving you somehow on the long drive?
I mean, if it's legit, obviously it's a good shot.
I can confirm I witnessed it, and it was as much of a surprise to him as it was to you.
Well, you just hold your hands up, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think he knew how he did it because he didn't go for it. It
You
just,
just say fair play and that's it.
yeah,
I mean, because I genuinely hit like a really, really good tee shot. You know, I hit it pretty central and hit the exact shot I wanted. So I mean, you know, if he's obviously hit a really good shot himself to knock it past that.
yeah. I think his driver averages is about 220, so it must have been a really good. I mean, he was definitely more than half cut as well when he hit it. So the boost told him.
I mean, that's the wind switch as
I
well.
don't think it did. It did feel quite into the wind, but it might not have been as strong. Granted, it might not have been as strong. Cool. And obviously it's a very social trip, that one. Kind of the name for the trip is the Friday Social, or it has been renamed as such. What did you think of the atmosphere, especially at dinner time?
Really good, really good. It's not like a normal society of guys who, you know, go for a bit of golf and, you know, obviously a few drinks, and, you know, this is all about like having the crack and, you know, joking around with everybody. So yeah, it was really good fun.
Yeah, good. Yeah, no, it's always every year's something new, I think, and you always see new faces, and I think that's the point of it. Everyone gets together and fights the elements and enjoys the crack together. So what's coming up for you in the this season? Where are you right now? What's coming up?
So currently I'm in Florida. Just been on a 3-week training camp. I've still got 5 days remaining. So yeah, this sort of last 5 days is going to be a bit more intense. Some more on-course stuff. Yeah, just lots of performance stuff really.
That's great. How did Florida come about?
So, strangely enough, the guy I'm staying with, he knows my dad. Like, they knew each other before, and Dad's they have mutual friends, and he showed up on Dad's birthday trip. Dad knew about it, but didn't know who it was, and then basically played around the golf in Portugal on my dad's birthday trip, and he said, look, anytime you want to come out, you know, feel free. So that kind of changes my plans a little bit for the winter. And I said to Dad, like, we may as well take advantage of that and come out, because, you know, you can get somewhere for a prolonged period. That's a huge expense off the tab, which is huge.
Yeah.
So I mean, to put in context, if you're paying for accommodation for 3 weeks in Florida this time of year, you're probably looking at $1,500 a week, maybe.
Yeah.
1,000 to 1,500 a week.
Yeah.
So
yeah, big advantage for you to get out of the cold, wet, windy weather and, you know, get some.
Yeah, and then from here I'm home for a few days, and then I'm going out to Spain. So that was literally just planned, partly because of the weather back home. I didn't want to kind of lose some sharpness by just being in bad weather. So yeah, get back out to Spain, continue what I'm doing, and then I'll probably have a day or two to spare when I come back from there, and then straight down to South Africa. Yeah,
nice. Are you going to Mallorca?
No, going to down by Soto Grande, down by San Roque, nice. And Valderrama area. So yeah, top courses down there. May try and get out and play around on one of those courses if I can.
Yeah, wicked. Okay, and then obviously when we get into the season, you're going out to South Africa, and that's all geared towards getting your sort of Sunshine Tour card, isn't it? Yeah, and then as we've talked, we know that there's a backup plan. You know, should the Sunshine Tour not pan out, you're going off to play in Denmark, and you've got like full status on that Danish tour. What's it called?
It's the Nordic League, and I think it's the Echo Tour as well. So it's like two tours combined into one. They just call it the Nordic League because it's obviously a Scandi area kind of tour. So yeah, I mean, hopefully I won't be in that position, but I mean, yeah, in an ideal world, I'll have full status on the Sunshine Tour, and yeah, that's what everything's gearing up towards.
Yeah, and what's the sort of season goal? So everything goes well, Sunshine Tour you're in, and you know you're competing. What's the sort of best case scenario there? I
think it has to be graduating up onto the renamed Challenge Tour, Hotel Planner Tour. So I think that's a realistic goal. Obviously, anything more than that is a massive bonus.
Yeah, because there is an opportunity to get full DP Tour status, is there?
There is, yeah. I think it's top 3 on the Sunshine Tour de Merit get full DP World status, and obviously, on top of that, you have the Q schools if you don't quite finish in that top 3.
Yeah.
So, you can get through to. I don't know if you can get through to final stage through Order of Merit position, but you may be able to. There may be some kind of exemption there, but you can certainly get through to second stage, which is a bonus as well. So
nice.
Yeah, that's the main goal, is to graduate for sure. As I said, it's realistic.
That's good. And you're feeling sharp? 3-week camp. You've got some good use out of it.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling better. It took me probably a week to adjust and sort of find my groove swing wise. And yeah, I mean, I've had some new equipment delivered, and obviously I've got an announcement coming for that. So yeah, really exciting period.
That's nice. Yeah, some good changes being made at the start of the new season. So it's really exciting. So for people who are jumping in and helping Jake's journey and funding it, the more of you, which I'm sure will join, things we can look forward to this year. We're obviously going to track Jake's journey through the Sunshine Tour and beyond. And through this, Jake's going to give us his time and kind of commit to sort of giving us the type of access that I've been talking about. And that can be everything from so that journey content. We're going to be getting bits from Jake, putting it into sort of footage which sort of tell the story, the highs, the lows, everything kind of going forward, because I think it's really important for us as people who are supporting kind of up and coming athletes to see sort of what the full arc of the story looks like, because there's areas of support that aren't just there are more than just financial there. Talking about rounds with you, going through what mistakes were made or what areas could be improved, or approaches to the game. I know that's one thing I've enjoyed in our relationship, is talking about just recapping rounds and sort of seeing where it went really well and it was stuff that we could both enjoy together, great results, and then talking about like alternative approaches to whatever, whether it be like the first 3 holes or your back 9 and settling yourself and all that kind of stuff. So I can vouch for just how enjoyable kind of and like fulfilling that was for me to kind of hear it directly from you. Jake and I are going to film some training drills that you go through, some of the more structured stuff, which we can all apply to our game, putting that into practice on the range. Things like 3 different yards with the same club, that kind of stuff. I don't know. We'll not spoil it for people. Like that's all to come whenever. But this is stuff that Jake goes through as a pro, which kind of dials you in for different yardages, different types of shots. And also just more consistent sort of ball striking and sway, like keeping up with your grip, keeping up with your sort of what would you call it, like your setups and stuff that can just slip, can't it, whenever you're not focusing on it. So we'll get all that stuff from you. Jake's going to do some swing feedback for people who put videos up in the chat. He'll take some time whenever it suits to just see if there's any things that you can spot as a pro that you can just give quick tips on, and drills maybe that people can use to tweak those things. Would also be great to get a part of the journey content to get your insights on how you're approaching tournaments, alluding to what I was talking about earlier. How you approach scoring, whether you're under pressure or whether you're just setting out in the first day of a competition. I think that's really good, and stuff that I've applied, learned from you whenever I've approached simple like medal competitions and match play competitions. One thing we're going to do with Jake the whole way through is track his stats. So carry distances, swing speed, ball speed, and spin rates. As Jake said, he's announcing sort of new equipment partner coming up, so he's been getting used to the new sort of feedback that he's getting from those clubs. But as Jake goes from training into competition, it's going to be interesting to see how you're whenever you're checking in with those swing speeds and stuff. It's going to be interesting to see what your stats look like throughout the course of a year. We'll do some filmed range sessions with Jake and his coach, a chap named Alex. Is it Capel?
Alex Clapp.
Clap, sorry. And Alex already mics up with Jake and sort of records the feedback that he's giving him for the drills or the swing feels that he's trying to get. So Alex is going to kindly sort of share that with us and let us put that out there for you guys to see as well. And then I'm going to arrange a golf evening for everyone who puts in funding Jake's project. We're going to do an evening at Pitch in London, and just a chance whenever Jake's not competing to get together and just have a couple of drinks, play some golf, and catch up and share some stories. So to me, that all sounds good. Sound good to you, Jake?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds great. Okay, we'll let you get back to training. I know it's early in the morning there, so thanks very much for jumping on.
No worries.
And yeah, we'll catch up soon. But thanks for doing this.
Cool. No problem at all.
All right.